Alright, hey, what's up guys? Josh here from the BitBlock with our video review for NBA Jam on the Wii. This is of course a game that a lot of people have been anticipating for a long time, and it's finally out now on the Wii here in North America, complete with all of its over-the-top dunking action where you can do backflips and whatnot. Also, the ball catches on fire, the characters have kind of bobbleheads. It's definitely a more arcadey take on basketball, which to me makes it a lot more fun. It also has a lot of new features, of course, for the Wii. For example, the Remix Tour has a bunch of different really interesting modes. Just to go over a few of them really quickly, 21, you basically play until one of the players reaches 21 points. There's also something called Domination, where you shoot from different locations of the court and you try to dominate them, and you'll collect points for, based on how long you keep them. So it's definitely jam-packed, pun intended, and there's a lot of fun to be had here. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our full review of NBA Jam on the Wii and see what the game is all about. Alright, so I think it's safe to say that NBA Jam is a more crazy, fun take on the sport of basketball. For example, you can pull off really insane slam dunks, run much faster, jump higher, and even push other players down to try and grab the ball from them without having to worry about any annoying fouls being called on you. Now, unlike real basketball, a main game in NBA Jam consists of two teams of only 2 players. As you can imagine, this means a little bit less strategizing as you run down the court. There's no figuring out who to pass the ball to because there's only one other player. Working with your teammate is important though, because knowing when to pass or when to pull off an alley-oop can be pretty essential to winning a game. A typical game of basketball here in NBA Jam seems decently fun, but it can grow old fast, especially if you're only playing by yourself. Having friends or family to play with is pretty essential here, especially when you take into account that NBA Jam, unfortunately, does not feature a Wi-Fi mode. It's the year 2010, all gaming consoles out there right now are more than capable of playing on Wi-Fi. Why in the world does NBA Jam not feature an online mode? That's especially disappointing when you consider that most gamers who would pick up a basketball game or any traditional sports game would probably expect to see Wi-Fi support. It should have been one of the first things that EA focused on putting in the game, but unfortunately there's no Wi-Fi here. However, when you do round up some friends to play with, NBA Jam offers up true local multiplayer fun, which personally to me is much more fun than playing on Wi-Fi. After playing for about 4 or 5 hours with friends, we did start to notice some balance issues though between the players and the gameplay. Some players seem like they never miss a dunk or a three-pointer, whereas others just seem totally worthless and are almost not capable of doing anything. Players can also be set on fire when they make 3 shots in a row. This is really cool, but honestly it does seem a bit unfair. If a player made 3 shots in a row, they've already earned at least 6 points, so why set them on fire and make it even easier for them to get more and more points? Cool or not, it can create some balance issues in the gameplay. It's like having a Starman in a Mario game that seems to last way too long. Boom shakalaka! You can use several different controllers in NBA Jam, which include the Wii Remote Nunchuck Classic controller, or if you like to keep it simple, just the Wii Remote held sideways. Using the Wii Remote Nunchuck incorporates motions into your control. For example, swinging up on the Wii Remote will make your player jump up, and then swinging it back down shoots the ball. Timing is very important, so it's not just a simple matter of waggling the controller. The motion controls actually do add a lot of fun to the game. Performing a slam dunk with motion controls is so much more satisfying than just pressing a button. You can of course get really fancy in the game by pulling off pump fakes, crossovers, throwing some elbows, turbo running, and spinning to trick up your opponents. The more you switch it up with your moves, the better you're obviously going to play. NBA Jam has a pretty unique style. It's a good mix of realism with cartoony visuals. The players' bodies are full 3D models, whereas the heads are real photos of the players, which change based on the angle you're viewing them from. You can even switch the players' heads to be bobblehead style, which to me makes it so much more fun to play. I have no idea why you wouldn't want to play with the bobbleheads. It looks hilarious. The stands are filled with 2D fans, coaches, mascots, and cheerleaders, all of which fit the style of the game pretty well. When you take a shot or a dunk, they go crazy, and it's pretty funny to watch.
breaks the slump.
The basketball courts look pretty nice and are obviously, for the most part, designed to look like the home team's real-life court. You'll see some extra little effects like reflection on the ground and advertisements flashing on the sidelines. The visuals all come together pretty well and give the game a unique style. The whole game runs at a very smooth 60 frames per second with no lag issues at all. NBA Jam, I would say, looks very nice. Remember the old Nickelodeon movie Good Burger from the 90s? Well, the soundtrack here in NBA Jam sounds like it was basically ripped directly from that movie. I sort of half expect Keenan and Kel to be unlockable players. And yes, I am saying that in a very good way. A lot of sport games these days use commercial music, which I kind of personally find annoying, so it's nice to see that NBA Jam has its own original soundtrack. It's kind of, I don't know, funky sounding? It's like hip-hop, rap, funk? I don't know, it sounds good and it fits basketball perfectly. Now, one of the most memorable things about the audio from NBA Jam is, of course, the announcers' wisecracks and puns. Here in NBA Jam, on the Wii, there are more than ever before.
And he got all Humpty Dumpty Medieval on the backboard right there. Look out! That was like a cannonball hitting the glass. How did it not just explode?
They're definitely cheesy, but that's kind of what makes them fun. If you find them annoying, you can always just turn them off. Alongside the main game of basketball, NBA Jam also features brand new remix modes, which frankly, to me, are the star of the show here and what makes NBA Jam on the Wii so much fun to play. So for example, you've got Domination, which is a game where up to 4 players try to sink shots from different areas on the court. You then earn points every few seconds for holding that spot. So as you can imagine, it really does become a lot of fun trying to steal your friends' areas. 21 has players trying to be the first to earn 21 points. Elimination is a game mode where every 2 minutes the player with the lowest score is knocked out until only one remains. And Smash is a mode where players have to destroy their opponent's backboard by lowering its power bar. You do that by making shots and dunks. Obviously, slam dunks would take down more of the backboard's power. There are other special modes, which include boss battles and a remixed 2 versus 2 player mode, which adds in power-ups to the game of basketball. However, from what I've noticed, it seems the computer usually grabs the power-ups before you even get a chance to see them spawned on the court, so it's definitely a bit wonky and it can be unfair at times if you're playing it against the computer players. You can also check out your high scores, as well as take on some jam challenges, which are essentially like extra achievements or goals to complete. There's about 58 of them in all. Some of them are things like get 10 rebounds in a game, win a game versus the computer, score 100 points in a single game, score 10,000 points collectively, and of course beating certain teams in different modes. NBA Jam features a pretty decent amount of replay value, especially if you have friends around to play with, and completing all the extra goals is something that's going to obviously take a good amount of time to unlock all the special players and courts and whatnot. At the end of the day, NBA Jam is a fun arcade take on basketball, and in many ways, probably one of the best basketball games available. The game is fun, but it's also kind of flawed. Some of the players have balancing issues which can make the game seem unfair, and some of the gameplay can become a little repetitive after a while. No Wi-Fi support is obviously a pretty big letdown, especially since playing alone is nothing too amazing. In fact, playing alone in a Mario sports game is actually considerably more fun than playing alone here in NBA Jam. The game features tons of players and teams, a good amount of unlockables, and some fun remix modes, which, like I said, seem to be the most fun to have here in NBA Jam. In addition, the motion controls do add a new layer of fun and really make shooting for threes or slam dunking on your friends much more satisfying than just pressing a simple button. If you love basketball or any of the past NBA Jam games and can forgive the lack of Wi-Fi and sometimes frustrating gameplay quirks, I don't doubt you're going to enjoy yourself here.